But I don't like to be this person that's attached to things. At a point I was smoking weed. I've been sober from it. Why? Because I realized that thing was controlling my life. And it's not that, oh, it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's realizing that if it controls me, and I'm not controlling it, then I'm being disobedient. I have addictions. I would say I've steered clear from a lot of those, but I do have times where I'm disobedient to what I know I'm supposed to do, and I choose to not be obedient to those things that I've committed to myself. The consistency compounds, right? And in that consistency that compounds, you have the building process. There's two ways of, doing great things. You can have spurts of success, or you can have the compounding effect. In my life, I've had these spurts of kind of just massive wins.
What do you think this reality is that we're in right now?
I think it's a matrix, bro, for sure. I think it's I genuinely believe. So here's my premise. God creates the universe, right? But the universe has a creator, and the creation is obviously a construct. So how we perceive reality isn't really how reality is. So let me kind of break this down in a simple format. The way I perceive you is only the way that my brain allows me to perceive you through my receptors, my eyes. But that doesn't mean that that's what you actually are. You're just a composition of what atoms and cells that are kind of meshed together and held together. But maybe that's not just all of reality. Maybe I close my eyes, right? And I'm speaking to the soul version of you, and the construct version of you couldn't actually be there. So this aspect of physical reality isn't actually real. It's just how we interact with it in the three-dimensional realm. It's a concept that I like to kind of play with. But I like the idea of there being a creator and a higher power that we are accountable to for our actions and for our way of living.
And to keep that creator happy, what do you think you should do? Just be a good person.
Be obedient.
To them.
To the truth.
Explain.
I think people know what to do and they don't do it. I think many people lie to themselves. They know what truth is and they avoid it. They know what good is and they avoid it. We live in a world where there's people that do not want to be held accountable to this idea of there being an absolute truth, right? Everything is good, everything is bad. But, there's things that we can all unanimously agree to that are bad. If you go out and rape a woman, that's bad. Unanimously. Yeah, some cultures may accept it. Doesn't mean it's good. So what is it? What is that moral trigger inside of us that tells us that action is bad?
Are you religious?
No. Religion to me is a construct of how other people have been in relationship with God. I am so a couple years ago, I had a conversation with God. I believe it to be a genuine conversation, and I was reading. Have you read the Bible by chance? I recommend you read it.
Everybody's saying I should do that.
Okay, then so maybe that's God telling you to read it. So there's this. Have you heard of King David? You've heard of the Star of David. So King David has a son. His name is Solomon. There's a story in the Bible where Solomon is dreaming. He goes into dream state, and God comes to him in dream state, and God says to Solomon, "Anything that you want, I will give you. If you want wealth, I'll give you wealth. I'll make you the richest man. If you want kingdoms, I'll give you the kingdoms. Tell me whatever it is that you want, and I'll give it to you." And Solomon didn't ask for riches, didn't ask for kingdoms. He asked for one thing. He said, "Give me wisdom." And God gave him wisdom. And after that, the riches came, the kingdoms came, and every other thing that comes with it. So as I read that, I sat there and I was like, God, give me wisdom. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what this means, but give me wisdom and allow me to be a person that makes decisions not out of spontaneity, not out of reactiveness or out of emotion, but out of a state of mind in which I can be wise. And from that, everything else will come. So my relationship with God is now a pursuit of truth and a pursuit of wisdom. And I think it's working.
Seems like it is. Do you have anything about yourself that you're not happy with, or you feel like is holding you back or getting in the way? Because I don't feel like you're the type of guy that has many bad habits, but I feel like everybody has some.
Yes. I have skeletons in my closet, brother. But I don't think I have addictions. I think sometimes I'm disobedient.
What, to yourself or
to the truth?
Okay.
To knowing what you need to do and not doing it. But I don't like to be this person that's attached to things. You know, at a point I was smoking weed. I've been sober from it. Why? Because I realized that thing was controlling my life. And it's not that, oh, it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's realizing that if it controls me, then, and I'm not controlling it, then I'm being disobedient. Why? Because I don't need anything controlling me. I don't need anything dictating how I operate, waking up and smoking a joint, or waking up and drinking alcohol, or whatever it may be. It could even be a good thing that you overdo. But this entire concept of kind of being in a situation whereby I have addictions, I would say I've steered clear from a lot of those, but I do have times where I'm disobedient to what I know I'm supposed to do, and I choose to not be obedient to those things that I've committed to myself.
It's weird. Sometimes you get a bit of a kick just like being disobedient to yourself sometimes.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to let loose, but at the same time, it's like, I would say another thing, consistency. You know, this principle of, there's different people operate in different ways. I consider myself a polymath of sorts. So I like to study different things at different times. So I'll study mathematics, I'll study architecture, I'll study business, developing a complete mind, right? Under this principle of Da Vinci. Of course, I'm no Da Vinci by no stretch of the imagination, but I like to study multiple things. In that creative mind, you often find spurts of genius here, and whereby, for example, you've developed that consistency compounding effect. Clearly, it's visible with your fucking arms, whereby the consistency compounds, right? And in that consistency that compounds, you have the building process. And there's two ways of, you know, doing great things. You can have spurts of success, or you can have the compounding effect. In my life, I've had these spurts of kind of just massive wins, because I go into a massive win and then kind of like I chill, or I meditate, or I vibe, and I kind of just hang out, kind of like what I've been doing the last 2 years. And then I'll have like another spurt. I would like to develop a sense of continuity. I would like to experience that. I wouldn't say it's a good or a bad thing, but there's definitely things in my life that I can be more consistent.